For the past 2 months, I've been attempting to squeeze as many Disney princesses as possible onto the same lot in The Sims 4. Let's do a quick recap. On the left side, we have Rapunzel, Ariel, and Snow White's cottage. We have Anna's palace, Tiana's palace, Mini Casita from Encanto, and Elsa's ice castle. And then over here, we have Jasmine's palace, Moana's little beach hut, and Merida's castle. Now, the first order of business I want to get into is giving Merida's castle a little bit of a makeover, because with the new castle estate kit, we have these beautiful battlements in fences that look so much better than our little half wall trick. I'm just adding this fence all the way around the roof. And what will help even more is this embellished castle trim to go right underneath it to kind of help blend it into the stone. It's such a simple change, but it already looks centuries older to me. Now, let's go ahead and see who Merida's next door neighbor is gonna be. I'm honestly hoping for another castle. I'm kind of in a castle building mood today. Actually, for Belle, I don't know if I want to do her castle. Here's what I'm thinking. For Tiana's palace, we did the downstairs as her restaurant, and then the upstairs is her living quarters. I'm thinking about doing the same kind of thing for Belle over here, where the downstairs will be a bookstore, and then the upstairs will be her own personal living space. I know it's a very interesting shape for a library, but I want it to be as grandiose as Beast's castle, but also still bring in elements from her cottage back in the village. By using a roof shaped like this, pulling the eaves out, curving it just a little bit, and using that same thatched roofing that I used over on Snow White's cottage. And then in the center here, to just make it appear taller, even more grand, we'll do a regular roof. Give it that same curve using these little manipulation points, and it looks so much more fairy tale. Another thing that I think will really help with combining the two styles is using a combination of stone and this siding from Get Together. And I love that there are so many different variations of the same swatch. And then my favorite thing to do here at the top is to put in this swatch with the little diamonds. And while we're up here, we might as well add a couple dormers. Now I'd like to bring in some elements from Beast Castle. Is that not the most perfect window for Beauty and the Beast with the yellow and the rose? I'm also gonna add a balcony right underneath it just so that window feels a little bit more supported. And then we have a few different options for this front door as well. Oh my goodness, just look at that. Honestly, like, I want to have this cottage in like miniature form on my desk. Now for the path, I'm just going in with some simple cobblestone. It would be a crime if I didn't add in a fountain to represent the one from the movie. And of course, I have to give her a cozy little reading spot. That way she can have her book club girlies come over. I'm just adding a ton of these yellow flowers all around. But I do want to make sure I get these red rose bushes in as well. This might be one of my favorite exteriors. It's so my style. So maybe it's not an official library, but she does let her friends borrow from her private collection. I'm already obsessed with this layout, having this little entryway divided by two grand bookshelves. Let's get some very fancy paraquet flooring in here as well. I think we could pull off having this maybe just in this dining room. It is such a rich golden color. And then in our itty little bit of baby kitchen, we have this yellow with the brown. And we've got this little matching wallpaper. Now, I think since the kitchen will be here, let's go ahead and put the dining room in the center. I'm just grabbing this one from Vampires because it has that vintage scrolling. And the chairs also have it. Oh my gosh. I love when this happens and things end up matching so well. And then for the archway, I'm gonna use this one, which has a little more of a vintage touch to it. How could I build Belle's castle without adding in a little representation for Lumiere, Cogsworth? For plants, I'm just gonna add in these trimmed hedge bushes on either side. And there we go. Now it's definitely more balanced. And while we're at it, let's top it all off with a proper chandelier right over that dining table. We can add the clock to represent Cogsworth. And look, we even have a swatch with some gold touches in it. I don't think Belle would hop on many trends, but I do think the TV picture frame trend was made for her. Is that not just so adorable and matches her aesthetic so well? And that leaves us so much room for cute antique wall decorations, a little end table in this corner, and up here we will put Mrs. Potts' teapot. You cannot convince me that this is not Mrs. Potts in The Sims. And then I need something over here. Oh, we could do the Beast's portrait, because we did get something very similar from Werewolves. This one, that's probably as close to the Beast as we're gonna get. Now, what's really gonna help this room have a cozier feel is changing up the lighting. Oh, that is already feeling so much cozier. And then to brighten up the space, let's add in this light-toned rug that has, you guessed it, some roses on it. I'm just gonna size that down and place it in the middle of the space here. Now all we have left is this kitchen. And I think the best thing to do here is a proper galley kitchen, 3 tiles on each side. For this one, I feel like having this gold hardware is so important and just takes it to the next level. So on one side, we'll have our stove. The other side, we'll have our sink. And then let's go ahead and put the fridge next to the stove as well. Sticking with the brown and gold trend. Since this kitchen is very narrow, I'm gonna use lights that kind of mimic that shape. I'll go ahead and add in a dish rack, some more flowers maybe. And then on this side, we're gonna add even more books. Belle would obviously have an extensive cookbook collection. And just because I haven't yet, let's put the pressure cooker in too. The less time she spends cooking, the more time she has to read. I'm also gonna put a chalkboard up here. Maybe Lumiere is in charge of her meal planning. There we go. A really simple yet so cozy kitchen that totally matches her aesthetic. I'm assuming when she exits the ladder, she'll go this way. So we could put either a dresser or a desk here. Or we could have another cozy little reading nook. Ooh, this one is perfect. A combination of red and that gold color. I'll grab a nice matching vintage lamp and essentially turn this stack of books into its own little table by raising some items up with the 9 key to place them here. I'm actually just gonna scoot the headboard into the wall until it disappears so that this literally is the headboard. Grab some vintage nightstands to match. And it would be a crime if I didn't include some candlesticks on these bedside tables in gold for Lumiere. And of course, she's got her books by her bedside table. They're everywhere. Oh, this rug takes this room to the next level. Wow. And then I could go ahead and add a shelf over here too, with some of this book nook clutter right next to where the bathroom is going to go. Ooh, love the flooring already. We can put it in the center on this side, and then opposite will be our little vintage sink and toilet. Changing out the light fixture for something that fits the antique vibe a little bit more. Adding a fuzzy rug, and suddenly this bathroom is so much cozier. Overall, super refined, very cozy. I love this for her. I think Belle would enjoy this space. And with that, it's time for us to move on to our next princess house, right between Belle and Rapunzel. I hope they like singing because they're going to be hearing it from both sides. Okay, Raya. So I'm going to attempt to build the Heart Palace from Raya and the Last Dragon. Ironically, the first thing that pops up when I search for this are these Lego sets. That's actually going to be super helpful. I'm going to place 4 of these octagonal towers, and then I'm just going to connect them like this. Now I'm going to add on a full hipped roof piece in the center and curve it as much as possible and lower it. Same thing with these little octagonal roofs, just making them as curved as possible. Oh, they look like little umbrellas or like little mushroom nub. I'm gonna go ahead and make the ones in the back taller, not necessarily because it's built to scale, but because it'll give the build the overall illusion of being more grand. Okay, now the really tricky part is the big ball that goes on top. You know what? Vases sized up and turned upside down might actually be a great great place to start. Let's just see what happens if I rotate it 180 degrees and elevate it. I'm starting to think we might be able to pull this off. I'm gonna use this gold dragon scale-like texture on the smaller spires and blue in the center. I'm gonna size up these spires as well and then tool mod them down into the roof so that just that little top part is sticking out. Go ahead and place the spire here as well. I'm sorry. That looks like it was made to be there. I'm also gonna add in this gorgeous trim. Then I'm gonna use this gorgeous brushed stone texture that's actually base game, believe it or not. Ooh, I might get to use some more Realm of Magic because that looks gorgeous. And that's perfect because I can use these windows from Realm of Magic in white all around these columns. I honestly wasn't sure what I was going to use here, so that helps a ton. And then for the back, I can use that same window in the matching swatch. And since we are in the jungle, I'm going to use the same landscaping technique that I used for Moana. Taking this naupaka and putting it all over the place. It just makes it look so lush. Ooh, and now I can add these beautiful gold lanterns out front too. Now I've left this open because I want to add these pieces. I'm going to do a little bit more tool mod magic by rotating these 90 degrees. And then we've got a cute little decorative wall plate. Let me just add in a couple stepping stones and we're pretty much good to go. I'm obsessed with how this one turned out. I'm honestly flabbergasted that we pulled it off. All right, let's see what we're working with on the interior here. This house is definitely on the smaller side and one of the more interesting shapes we've had to work with. Now, hold on. Do we actually get to see the inside of the Heart Palace? Oh, this is super helpful. Lots of aqua and bronze, which is perfect. That's exactly what we've got going on with these windows. I mean, that's a great start. Considering doing something very similar to what we did in Ariel's place, where we put the dividing line in the middle here, but then we have our fireplace here and maybe a solid entryway, living space, maybe a dining table and kitchen or bedroom. And then we also have these tiny little rooms to take advantage of too. Might actually start bringing some red accents in here because those are the colors that she wears while she's traveling. We've got this cute gold end table as well. Courtyard Oasis also has this beautiful tea set that is just begging to go in here. And at this point, it would be an absolute crime if I did not include these lanterns from Paranormal. Now I just need a long rug to tie everything together since I had to space it out. Perfect! These are actually two separate rugs that I just placed together. That is so close to the tile pattern in the movie. Just adding these curtains on either side and the little mount that goes with them. Now this is where it gets tricky because I need to fit her bed in one of these rooms. Obviously a bed is not going to fit in one of the towers, so her bed kind of has to go here. Oh, gorgeous. Yep, that's the way to go. And because she is a warrior, let's add the swords and shield above her bed. Not dangerous at all, I promise. And then instead of putting a light right above the bed, I'm going to use these lanterns sized down just a little bit on either side to make it feel extra grand and fancy. And just a really simple, fluffy rug underneath. Try to make this as cozy as possible, even though it is totally exposed to the rest of the house. Just a little table here with a candle on it. Maybe a little plant. Cute! Nice. I love that. And that gives us more space over here in the entryway. Oh, let's use this divider to give her some more privacy. What a normal thing to do. I've just never thought of doing that before for whatever reason. And then right here, we can have a coat rack, some shoes. I feel like she would be a no shoes in the house person. And then one item that I haven't used yet that I definitely need to somewhere is this dragon lamp. And while we're here, I'm gonna add in some music. That's something that I honestly can't live without. Oh, we could get a workout room in. We haven't done that yet. And our warrior princesses definitely are gonna need somewhere to train. And I think all I'm gonna do in front of this window is add these little ottomans that have bookshelves underneath, so it's extra seating, extra storage, so functional. Just squeezing in this little console table right here to serve as a dresser. And then would it be silly to add the little plush dragon in here? Silly? Maybe. Adorable? Absolutely. Going back to For Rent to grab some more East Asian inspired clutter. I'm gonna put some of this incense in here too. There it is! All right, I think our main living space is finished. Wow, this is incredible. So now we're gonna have to figure out how to squeeze a kitchen into one of these tiny little cubbies. We could draw a straight line here and then put our kitchen items like this. That way, this is still functional and it looks better too. It's okay to have a little empty space in your build. There we go. That feels a little bit closer to what we've got in the movie and kind of matches the rest of the build better. I would give her the pressure cooker, but I literally cannot fit it in this build, so we're gonna have to pass. I will add some little utensils though. Let's put some little hanging spices in here too. Really simple kitchen, but it's not like we really have room for much else. So, not too bad. Then over here, we'll do the dining room, I guess. I love that these chairs have little touches of red in them. This works really well with the lantern. Let's put this sunburst rug underneath. Then to help break it up a little bit, I'll change these curtains to a different color. Add a little candle in the center, and there we go. So stinking cute. All right, room number 3. I actually think I want to make this a workout room. I'm gonna use those same sconces on each wall and take away the overhead light just so we can see a little bit better. And pretty much the only thing that's gonna fit in here is this weight machine. Lucky for us, it comes in the perfect swatch colors. And there we go. That was super easy. I'm getting suspicious. Is the next build gonna be atrociously difficult? Let's add a little stereo on the floor in here as well for some extra motivation. And a water bottle because you gotta stay hydrated. Perfect. Now, finally, the bathroom. Because red and brown are the colors that she actually wears when she leaves Heart. We have this gorgeous sink from Jungle Adventure that matches so nicely. And let's go ahead and use the squat toilet in here too. I'll put the shower right next to it. It's the closest as I can get to having a basin in here too. Let's add in a really pretty gold mirror that has that kind of mandala effect that we've got going on in the wallpaper as well. And there we go. Honestly, not as terrible as I expected it to be when I saw the layout of this build. It's definitely non-conventional, but it should be functional. And sometimes that's all that you can ask for. These two builds are so different, and I'm honestly so glad that I was able to do them side by side. Belle's house is in a style that I'm very familiar with. It's honestly what I would build as my dream house in The Sims. And then Raya's palace is just on a whole nother level, using a lot of techniques that I haven't tried before. Make sure to subscribe if you've been enjoying this series so far, and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!